Hey, you've probably been reading this in news, you've been watching this on social media platforms, that the H1B scenario in the US is getting tighter. It's getting more expensive. You'll have to invest $100,000 to get a H1B visa. So the obvious question in your mind is, if you're planning to apply to US business schools, should I apply to US at all? Should I put my dreams of doing an MBA in the US in the back burner, probably put it in the attic and look at some other geography? Right? If that's a question in your mind, before you take the decision, let's do a deep dive. We're not going to take any decision in a panic driven manner, and we're not going to do anything on an agenda driven basis also. We're going to do an objective evaluation in this video. We're going to be covering the following 5 points. What is this $100,000 H1B suddenly cropping up? What is this all about? Let's understand that. Who it affects and who it does not affect. Let's look at it. Let's look at if you're a student in the US right now, or if you're going to the US as a student, will it affect you? Are companies still sponsoring these H1B visas? And lastly, the fifth point we're going to look at is we're going to build a plan A, plan B, and even probably a plan C, so that at the end of watching this video, you go home clear headed and you also know these are the things I'm going to do. And by next March, I know where I'm headed. What is going on with this $100,000 issue? Starting September 21, 2025, any employer applying for H1B visa for employees who are outside the US will have to file a filing fee of $100,000. Note one thing, this is not a fee paid by you. This is a fee paid by the employer if the employer wants to sponsor H1B for you. So is it real? Yes, it is. Now let's read the fine print and understand, because the administration has come up with clarification on this. Does it apply across the board to everyone who is applying for H1B visa? Not really. The statement is whoever is outside the US. So if you're already in the US on a visa, let's say a F1 visa, which is a student visa, or you're on this OPT program, which is optional practical training program, then you have a visa status in the US. So you're essentially changing status from one visa to the other visa, and therefore this $100,000 fee does not apply to you. So is it true? Yes. Does it apply to everyone? No. Will it apply to students? The answer is clearly no, provided you have a visa status in the US. Now let's go one step deeper and find out what does this mean in terms of your chances of either getting the visa or the likelihood of landing a job with a US employer. Let's now put ourselves in the shoes of a potential recruiter. If you are an employer in the US looking to recruit a talent outside the US without a visa status, then you need to pay $100,000 filing fee. And if they find you in US with a student visa status, matching the same profile, then they're going to prefer you to that person for the simple reason that $100,000 fee is no longer there with you. Second, why was this $100,000 rule brought in? This was brought in basically because the number of H1B visas in a year are limited. 65,000 plus 20,000 for those who have done masters in the US. So 85,000 visas go around in a year. And for that, typically in a year, you'll have about 250,000 to 300,000 applications that are being filed. So what they do? They draw lotteries. That's what happens in H1B. Now with this $100,000 fee, this mass filing by large recruiters outside the US is going to stop. So the number of H1B applications in a year itself is going to be lower, which means your odds of striking the lottery is that much higher. So if you're a student in the US, your chances become that much brighter. You're probably better off now than you were in the past. The key question to ask is, are companies sponsoring H1B visas? The short answer is yes. They did, they're still continuing, and they know that if you're sponsoring H1B visas for people with visa status, they don't have to pay this $100K. It's true for large companies. Startups and smaller companies have always had it difficult in terms of the paperwork and the wherewithal, and that's going to continue. But what you need to look at is a larger landscape. The US job market is not what it was probably 18-12 months back. It's a little shaky. Tech companies are not recruiting as much as they used to. These are uncertainties with which you're entering a business school. But if I were to look back and see what happened in the past whenever there was uncertainty. In 2008, we had the housing bubble and a financial market crash. So anyone who was looking to get into the business school that time would have thought this is not the time to get into a business school. But in 2010, the job market was a lot better. Let's look at what happened very recently during the COVID years. 2020, 2021. Any sane voice would have told you, this is not probably the time to get into a business school. The job market was a lot better between 22 and 24. So the thing is, if you're entering a business school during uncertain times, you're going to be graduating anything from 24 to 30 months from now. That time, things are likely to be brighter. Usually, at the end of darkness, there is light. You'd probably be thinking, this guy is an evangelist for US business schools. The thing is, there is so much negative news about it. I thought someone has to go a little on the positive side to help you get that perspective. What you should be doing is, don't leave US outside of your entire scheme of things. Apply to 2 to 3 business schools in the US. Thing that you need to remember is, after so many years, even today, the US MBA brand sells the best the world over. It's the most recognized. And the second thing, the amount of scholarships that US business schools give out for doing an MBA from one single country is much more than what all business schools around the world provide. So US is something that you cannot not have in your list. Spread your eggs, diversify geographically. Look at schools in Europe, 2 to 3 in Europe, and 1 or 2 in Asia. So looking at applying between 6 to 8 business schools. Put your best foot forward, apply to all of them, land with an admission with scholarship from all of them. There is something called a sticker price, and there's something what you would finally spend with the scholarships thrown in. Your ROI has got 2 components. The return comes in the numerator, what you're likely to be earning post your MBA. The denominator is the investment. The lower the investment, if you get some scholarship, the larger the scholarship, the denominator goes down, that your ROI gets sweeter. Next March, when you have all of these admissions in hand, look at what the ROI is, what's the scholarship. You can even tell yourself that I'm going to put a cap on how much I'm willing to spend for a US MBA in Indian rupee terms. You can probably cap it at what you would spend had you signed up for an ISB MBA program, give or take 50 lakh Indian rupees. If the scholarship from the business school is that good that I have to spend only 50 lakhs of rupees, I will take it up. What happens in that scenario? In the worst case scenario, at the end of doing that MBA, you're going to come back to India and you will find a job that's as good as what you would have found had you graduated from ISB. That's a given. The best part, you're going to get an experience and exposure which is remarkably better. You're going to be having a cohort which is a lot more diverse than what you would find in any business school, what you would have got from doing an MBA within India. And that's an experience that's to cherish for life.